So, we should be getting into the server in a matter of seconds, and then we'll be bringing you all the action from Exertus. Is that how we pronounce it? Exertus? I don't know.
Yes.
Versus CREiZiZ. Or we call them CREiZiZ, so. Now, obviously, guys, bear in mind, you guys are aware of the problems with Battlefield 4 at the moment. There are ongoing issues that everybody is aware of. There are possibilities we may have server crashes, we may have client crashes. We ask you to bear with us while we go through this system. So, thank you very much for your patience. I hope you enjoy what you will be seeing. And it looks like the map rotation that they may have chosen is Operation Locker. So, yeah, this is going to be a bit messy, I think.
This is going to be a very much, to anyone who'd played BF3 out there, this is going to be very much like Metro, but with maybe being a bit too harsh there. It's going to pretty much revolve around a lot of close quarter infantry fighting, which is going to become the hallmark of BF, I believe, in Domination. But this map accentuates it even more. It is so close quarter, it's crazy. You're playing in an old prison, I believe?
You are indeed.
It's either a prison or a gold reserve. I don't know, I've been watching a lot of Goldfinger recently.
Really? I would say it's a prison, because it's got that circular thing in the centre there. So, unfortunately, I don't have much knowledge of prisons. So, now, I think it's fair to say, I mean, looking at the tickets, it's been going about 4 minutes, so we make the assumption that it's actually live already, and we'll go from there, yeah?
I believe we are watching a live game.
Okay, so let's see if we can get into the game, and we shall get everything underway. So, you are watching the ESL Battlefield 4 5v5 Domination Cup, and you are listening to Chadman and Mr.Dogbert, bringing you all the action from Exertus. And you can see now, as they're making their way down into that lower level, you can see, looks like a smoke, possibly flashbangs. Oh, this is nice to see flashbangs in Battlefield 4 being used to effective good. Now, obviously, what we're going to try and do is find out how the teams are spreading themselves out. Because as you look on this map, it's pretty much A and B, and then the C, which is the helicopter capture point. Those are the only two capture points that are available. Now, this is turning out that a lot of fighting is going on over A and B, Dogbert. It's looking interesting so far.
Right now, Exertus seem to, they literally just they just had a full cap there, which is very rare in Domination, I think you're going to find. But they're holding on to C and B, and really that's all they have to do right now. They don't have to go for A, they've got the ticket bleed, they're at the advantage, they have the ticket score right now of 163 to 79, and that is going to be going down rapidly.
Yeah, now you can see obviously that now it looks like the US team, which is obviously Exertus, they have captured that point back. So the bleed is looking back onto the Russian team again. However, the CREiZiZ guys, you can see them capturing the helicopter pad. They've now reversed that, and they're looking to try and move in. As you can now see, Exertus taking down the A point as well. And let's see if we can move in on these guys. As you can see, looks like Hadouken's just got taken down, and we're watching Phantom at the moment, and he looks like, yeah, there we go. He's using the Ace 23 as well, as you mentioned before, so you can see plenty of fire coming in. So Hadouken's the only person taken down, and we're just waiting to see what's going on. There we go, a little bit of a back rage, or a side rage, I should say, coming in from Phantom, and he's popping out the nades to try and take these guys down as they're defending the outward section. Now, you can see, obviously, on the overview here, it looks like Phantom's trying to defend himself from a back rage, and you've also got Hadouken down there as well, trying to defend himself from this back rage, which the CREiZiZ guys do look like was not successful. Very unfortunate for them there, Dogbert, and you can see their ticket numbers are now dropping like a stone.
Right now, they are obviously well behind, so they need to get themselves a hold on the flag, and they're doing that into B right now. But what they're finding out, really, is when it comes to the one-on-one infantry engages, they're kind of not coming out well. But because they're grouping up in such numbers, they're finding themselves, they capture a flag, but then their opponents are already capturing either one or graying out a second. So they really need to be able to spread out, but spread out in a way that they can actually win a few of these one-on-one fights.
Yeah, Now, obviously, let me just check something. No, that didn't work. Sorry, just testing a few bits and pieces in the background there. Sorry about that. While trying to juggle many chainsaws while we work. So now you can see the bleed is back onto the US team. So Exertus now lost 3 of their team. And you can see King Revo. Now, let's think of what he's doing. It looks like we're following him now. And we're watching him make his way over. It looks like we've got a little bit of a side rage going on from him with his teammates moving over. So you can see he's moving in to Site A to try and move into that point at the same time as Blackie then also moves up as well. So let's see if we can lock in on Blackie. Now you can see him in there as well. That looks like the 416 he's running at the moment. And you can see, oh, lovely grenade coming in onto the CREiZiZ guys. And a lovely back rage coming in. Rizzo the Rat and Edwin Leak taken down as well. And there goes Silgrissa.
As you see once again, Exertus is winning every of the infantry engages, and quite convincingly, and most of the time they're doing it when they're actually outnumbered, which is really disconcerting for crew here.
Yeah, now, obviously, you can see then that the US team have got the bleed back onto the Russian team, and they've gone out and they've taken that helicopter pad. And now you can see the Swedish team trying their best to try and get that point, as now you can see 4606 in there. Unfortunately, he was unsuccessful in reviving Phantom and is now moving up to support his teammates, as you can see, Rizzo the Rat. And they're down to about 8 tickets. I think it's fair to say this is going to be all over for the CREiZiZ team, and not looking good. But a good display here by Phantom and the Exertus team. What do you reckon?
They seem to have the general better infantry players. It seems their FP skill is totally all over them. And there you go, 143 tickets to 0 on the first round of Operation Locker.
Indeed, yes. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? It's definitely prison. But yeah, that was now look at that, King Revo with 17-3, really good score. And to be honest, look at the scores of all of Exertus. They are doing really well. That's really a good first round, I suppose you could say, for the team, and we shall obviously move on and see what they have chosen for the second round. So far, obviously, 143 tickets in their favour. Now, obviously, tell us how the tickets will actually work when it comes to the second round. Can you explain a little bit more detail for those out there listening and watching?
Well, hopefully this is the first round, and we haven't catch the second round of this map. But the way the ticket system will basically work is that whoever you start with 250, or is it 220? Either way, you will, at the end of a round, like just there, 143 tickets. So next round, for this team to win this map, they will have to at least get over 143 tickets. Now the best way to do that is to hold on to 2 of the main flags, and to revive as much as possible and keep their tickets. Now it starts at 200. So, yeah, they need to get on to hold 2 flags and basically not drop any deaths. Because you can, technically, you can lose while still holding the majority of flags, but the death rate would have to be insane for that to happen.
Now, one good thing is, obviously, we've got a countdown, so there's 20 seconds for the guys to sort out their final strats, and you can see essentially the spawn area of the 2 teams. You can see the US team on the right hand side near the B, and the Russian side near the A, and then obviously everyone's going to try and get the C to get that additional bleed onto their enemy. Now obviously, because it's outside, makes combat situations a little bit more difficult, and ladies and gentlemen, the teams are underway.
And here you go, you have 4 going straight for B, with 1 going out to C. I think it's pretty much a standard move for most teams, but I would have expected CREiZiZ to maybe send out maybe 2 players out there. I think they're finding out why they should have done that very quickly, as King Revo comes in and basically takes C for Exertus.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case. I mean, obviously, King Revo in there as well with XTS 4606. They've actually, they had a second guy move up, and he unfortunately wasn't able to do anything. But now they're in a back rage situation onto the B bomb site, and this is the B capture point, and this is going to be a problem now because you can see there's only Rizzo, Edvin, and Hinkas who are remaining. And this is going to be a serious problem, looking out for these guys, as now we're watching King Revo moving in. You can see him watching those isolation cells, spamming the fire. He then gets taken down as well. And you can now move on, and let's find out. It's 4606 taking some fire, hiding behind cover, trying to get a pick, but he then gets quickly taken down by suppressive fire from the CREiZiZ team, and that was looking pretty good. It looks like they're going to hold that point, but they've got to get out there. They've got to use that opportunity, that lull in the attack, but they're being back raged. This is terrible.
But basically what happened there is you had King Revo and a guy with many numbers in his name holding down the entranceway to C, basically locking CREiZiZ into the B point. They managed to actually open up that gateway, and they could have gone for C, but they were still pinned down by firefights coming in the two tunnels. This led to a very interesting spawn point, which was randomized obviously, right behind CREiZiZ at B, which caught them completely by surprise, and when they should have been trying to spread out to try and get a control of C, or at least threaten A, they stayed still because they were pretty much paralyzed by getting shot from either side.
Yeah, very unfortunate situation. Obviously, like you were saying before, there is a certain amount of control that you have over some of the spawns depending on your position. But we'll just have to wait and see how that works. As we're now watching Revo, now you can see Revo moving out to try and recapture the helicopter pad, taking one of the enemy down, as you can see, and he is now trying to hold that point. And then you can see most of these guys with the med bags, obviously if they've got the ace, then they're pretty much going to have the med bags as well. And now he's looking for an opportunity to try and do a back rage onto the B point. And you can see now...
This is when they're going to be surprised, because the random spawn points of domination are going to throw their curse on against Exertus here, as two players from CREiZiZ have turned out to spawn right behind them at C.
Yeah, now
I know... Both of them were taken down instantly. I mean, Exertus are basically showing that they are the superior FPS players on this map.
Yeah, you saw that pretty nasty there. And you can see them basically, as soon as they came round onto that helicopter pad, one of the members who was obviously pushing up towards A, or I think it was A, yeah. No, sorry, moving up towards B, basically decided to cycle round and move down towards C and take out those two guys who were back raging them. So now the bleed is still on the Russian team, but if you look at the tickets, the Russian team currently with 190 and the US team with 116 now. So the bleed is currently in the favour of XTS.
As you're seeing now, XRZ are definitely having to push in force to get even hold of any flag. The problem is they're not moving very quick. They're very predictable. They're getting caught up in very slow and very monotonous whole fights, which is pretty much leaving Exertus to basically bring enough people to the right area and pin them down. They're not getting even contesting a flag here, whereas they just go in there now, and they are. Just as I called it.
Well, yeah, that's the reason you're the expert. What can I say? Now, you can see, obviously, the CREiZiZ guys now basically being taken out, and it looks like they've managed to get... They've cycled round, they've worked round and rotated round to get the A point, at the same time as they're losing the B point, and it looks like also the C point is still secure. But you can also see that the Sweetag is now moving down towards the C point, and they're going to try and engage the Exertus guys. There we go, one taken down. There is another who's taking cover. Maybe they can use this to their opportunity, popping out the nades to see if they can actually do any kind of serious damage. Getting that all-important pick as one of his teammates is moving forward, and now you can see additional members of Exertus now moving in to support that push, or defend that push that's coming in. And yeah, this is looking pretty nutty, because you just see Hadoukens defending from two of the Swedes. You can see, there we go, nade goes out, and a nice quick fire coming in from the 416, taking down the enemy man.
Playing 2v1 on that corner, and he was able to tie down a significant amount of the team trying to get through to B. While they were trying to contest at C, Hadouken himself managed to hold down at least 2 to 3 members of the opposing team.
Yeah, now we're watching him do exactly the same, and he's just done exactly the same to Sweetag. And so you can see, obviously, that Hadouken, 13 and 3, I'm not surprised now. That's interesting. You notice that he got onto that point and took the lights out. So that may be giving him just that little bit of an edge. We'll have to wait and see. He can spot his enemy before his enemy can spot him. And you can see him running through the corridors at the moment. Edvin Leek being taken down. And now you can see the C point and the A point being held by Russia. And the US team down to 56 tickets are rated to 179. Not looking good for the Swedish team at the moment, Dogbert.
No, they've lost a significant amount of tickets. I don't think they can get a handle back on this game. They seem to be completely surrounded whenever they do try and move out, and when they stay where they are totally locked down. What they can do here is try and get as many tickets as possible. That will carry through into the next game. So they just need to try and get as good a hold as they can, get as many kills, and just be as aggressive as possible. They're going to lose this map. They can't win this map, so they got to do as much damage as they possibly can. But I mean, the thing about Exertus in this map right now is when they do lose one of their flags and they do lose a big team fight, they basically en masse instantly take one flag and move people immediately to the other where they know the enemy team is nowhere nearby, to instantly threaten 2 flags within 10 seconds of losing a fight.
Now that's obviously going to be quite an important strategic decision, because these kind of things definitely help you, because like you're saying, you're focusing people's attention, you're suddenly tearing them between 2 different capture points, and that's obviously going to be a big thing when it comes to this kind of domination gameplay, Dogbert.
It does indeed, and I think the only thing that really changes this map from not being a complete shutdown is the domination's spawn point. So if you are finding yourself very much all over one spawn point, your opponent is likely going to spawn in a very awkward position behind you.
Yeah, and that's part of the excitement, I suppose you could say, and part of the randomness. Now, obviously, part of the problem that you tend to have is that semi-pros and pros and competitive players tend not to like randomness in their games.
No, not at all.
Indeed. So, because essentially you put randomness into the game, and it takes out an element of skill that's involved. So we're now watching Edwin having a little bit of a run-in, and he traded before 606, but the tickets are down to 9. And there we go, Silgrissa has just managed to revive one of his teammates, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The tickets are wearing down too quickly. The bleed is so effectively on them.
A and C. I mean, we could see an epic comeback, but no, it looked like Exertus are flowing into A like a dam has burst all over that flag.
Yeah, they basically came in en masse and cut down anybody who was trying to defend that point. So that's going to wear out the few remaining tickets as 4606 goes on. Now, you'll notice also that they're actually leaving one guy back at the flag to try and defend that. You noticed also that during the point of that, they were actually splitting up their team. One person defending one flag, one person covering another entrance to another flag, with 2 guys running in the middle. It was very interesting to see, Dogbert.
Was indeed. Exertus basically played like a top-level battlefield team. They spread out when they were about to lose a flag. They concentrated in the right place at the right time, and they locked down their opponents when they had the full 2-flag advantage. The only thing that even saved the Swedes from being completely locked in were the spawn points. And also, I give a shout to Hadouken for his 23-4, and more importantly his critical bit where he was managing to hold down the entire Swede team in a corridor by himself, taking them out and then going to A and repeating it all over again.
Yeah, I suppose that's an indication of a good player, is the kind of player that you can put into an area and you know that he's actually going to hold that point, do as much damage as he can to the opposing team, and then still be able to then move from there. Now, obviously, we've moved on to Lankang Dam, but we don't know if this is actually going to be the actual map itself. So we're waiting to see what's going on with that, and we're obviously waiting for confirmation, because it's possible they may change. So we shall have to wait and see, boys and girls. As an interesting first map, obviously, that's very closed in. The inbound, or so not so the indoor aspect of it makes things very interesting, makes things very claustrophobic. Obviously, you can get a few nice bounce grenades off the side of walls. Did you see the use of any smoke grenades, any flashbangs, or any incendiary grenades, Dogbert?
No, I didn't. I seen a very much standard kind of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 domination game. Most people just played to their strengths, which I guess is their infantry play. No one was really experimenting with anything, really. It was pretty much just fast and furious 5v5 domination infantry battles.
Right, now, it looks like we might... Let's see. Are we talking about a live game? What do you think? I can guess that we are, because we're just looking at the moment.
It's 4v5 right now.
Okay, so we'll assume it's not live until such times as we have confirmation that one of the other CREiZiZ guys is back on the server, and then we'll get underway.
Also, 3 of them haven't spawned yet. I mean, they've just all rejoined now. By the way, guys, before I said there was no rules, I was kind of wrong. There is no M32 grenade launcher, no airburst, no claymore, and no M26.
Now, that's quite interesting because obviously the airburst gets used a lot on pubs. Very helpful for clearing out those naughty little snipers. However, understandable that it's not in competitive play. What's your thoughts on that, genuinely, as a weapon?
Airburst?
Yeah.
Oh god, it kills me in Publix all the time, and I'm happy it's not being used in competitive game, god damn.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Now, obviously, the M320, everyone's favourite spam weapon, especially on that prison map. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to say. Now, obviously, they said also claymores, I think, were banned as well.
Claymores are indeed banned, and that's a good thing because there is a special place in hell for anyone who ever uses a claymore.
Yeah, what can I say? You're not sounding exactly, what's the word I'm looking for? Impartial on the matter of claymores there, Dogbert.
No. I was playing a public earlier, I got killed by a claymore. And,
oh, right, so claymore rage, yeah?
I will never shake that man's hand.
You'd rather rip it off him and then beat him to death with it, but never mind.
A sticker explosive that goes off if he walks by it, then yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's only fair. A little bit of, you know, good-hearted mass murder is all what we were here about. So you can see, obviously, a little bit of pistol fire going on. All the guys warming themselves up. Looks like they're all doing a little bit of pistol fun. The Exertus guys in there with a little bit of pistol goodness. Now, obviously, when it comes to pistols, have you found a particular favourite that you like using so far?
I actually have not got to use many of the pistols. I'm still stuck on the default one. I haven't unlocked the rest just yet. But hopefully they will have the return of the hand cannon from BF3, the Magnum.
Right, okay, it looks like they've done a quick restart, so we might be underway with this particular map. So we're just waiting for confirmation. And I think, let's check our numbers. Yeah, they've got everybody in, so I think it's a fair assumption that this is going to be the map of choice for the second round, or the second map, I should say.
Yes, this is the map.
So, you have the 3 points. You have the laboratory at A. You have in the main tower, the B point, and the C point as well. Now, obviously you've got those sky bridges to go in between, which are going to be interesting choke points, but they can still go down to lower levels and bypass them by going up the stairwell, Dogbert.
It's going to be an interesting map. I think this is going to be quite a fluid one, but with a lot of heavy-duty fighting within the buildings. It'll be interesting to see how much they want to actually get stuck into the buildings and how much they want to stay on the outside.
Now that was interesting. I just saw a quick split of a 2-2-1 split by Exertus as they're now moving up, making use of the cover as they're moving up towards the building. So obviously the research building has been captured and the B point has been captured also by the Russian team. And now you can see them moving in, and obviously the advantage that the Russian team has is that they are actually holed up in those buildings already. So we just have to wait and see how things turn out, as we shall watch Phantom making a run into one of the reception areas. He gets taken down as he tried to hide behind one of the columns, and you can now see Sweetag. Oh, Sweetag being finished off with a 416, and then Exertus then being taken down. We're looking at Hadoukens. He's now moving across one of the sky bridges to try and attack them down in the reception when they're busy signing for their baggage and other things along those lines.
He managed to get right behind and take out two of the opposing Swedes, and that gives them B flag now.
Yeah, now obviously,
instead of being tied down in the little infantry fighting in the building, like I said before, used the advantage of a big open space around the back and got behind them, instead of being stuck in constant room-to-room fighting.
Yeah, now that's always the danger when it comes to a map like this. Now we're obviously watching Hadouken as he's into obviously the big scanning area. As you can see, he pops out a med pack just to make sure that he's not taking any damage, or at least any damage that he does take gets healed up very quickly. Out go the nades into that area where the CREiZiZ guys are trying to defend. They've been taken down and the flag is going to get very quickly captured. And now we're looking at a situation where the ticket difference 180 to 176. So there's not a huge amount of difference. Like you're saying, this has so far turned out to be quite a fluid map when it comes to 5v5 domination, Dogbert.
It It does indeed. I mean, what you're seeing here is usually a 4-man push or holding back to defend one flag, with one guy from each team trying to make a penetration somewhere so they can get to the flag and kind of pull the main team back. And say if they lost the initial 4v4, they would all be able to mass spawn upon their teammate and threaten a flag.
Well, that's exactly what happened, because the CREiZiZ guys literally spawned 4 together and went in and attacked that point at C. Now, unfortunately for them, oh, look at that. There's Rizzo the Rat trying to defend himself against multiple Exertus, but unfortunately taken down as he's looking to his teammate for a little bit of extra support as Blackie comes up the stairs, takes down the enemy, pops a heal onto one of his teammates, and they're trying to avoid those bombs, the grenades coming down. Now, it looks like these grenades are the contact grenades rather, so they're not bouncing off the walls that much. And you can see them moving in as, unfortunately, Silgrassi gets taken down, as we're now moving with the CRZ team as they're moving in towards the A point. And let's see if we can follow Hadoukens, because he's in there again. And
Hadouken and Phantom managed to get to A while it was the rest of the CRZ team was busy fighting at C. Managed to capture A. A big spawn from CRZ managed to be very close nearby, but both Hadouken and Phantom basically took them all out, and they're holding A very easily right now.
Yeah, now obviously the problem is that the sheer number of people that are there, you've then obviously got those 2 guys who are holding down A. The B point means that, do you think that Exertus are actually going to sit there and say, well, we've got the A point and we've got the C point, the bleed is now onto the opposing team, we've got nothing to lose, we can just sit here and wait for them to turn up?
Basically. I mean, this is going to be the hallmark of domination. You've got 2 flags, you've got your guys defending it, what's the point in doing anything other than holding on and bleeding the flags? If the opposing team want to come out, you're in a good defensive position. They're the ones coming to you. You're most likely going to pick them off. The only thing that's going to throw off any of these well-timed and good defenses is going to be the spawns from places they don't expect.
Yeah, that random spawn will definitely do them a number. Now, one thing that's quite interesting to see, obviously, is the way that they're splitting up the teams. Now, it looks like Exertus' team just got taken down quite badly in the area of the C point. But you can see the CRZ guys still trying to push. It looks like Sweetag just got revived and looks to go a little bit lower to see if he can push towards Blackie and friends. Now, Blackie, obviously, it looks like they're covering these areas quite well as far as I can see here, Dogbert. It looks like a couple of them just got taken down in the B lobby. And you've obviously got one upper and one lower at the laboratory for Exertus. And now let's see what's going on. They're doing a really good job of holding that A point. And then obviously floating between the A and the B point to try and ensure that the bleed remains on the opposing team. As it looks like we've had another of those lovely random spawns. And in come XTS. And they're about to back rage a few members of the Swedish team. There we go. They just got taken down very quickly. And it looks like that point C is about to be recaptured by XTS. And now they can move on.
I mean, what was very interesting is when CRZ went into C as an entire 5-man, they took the point. But as soon as that happened, the 2 that were defending A moved straight into B, were able to capture the flag, and then, so this is going to become a regular occurrence. If you overcommit to capturing a flag, the opposing team is going to instantly then just all out take your rear. You haven't got enough to defend it, they're more fluid, they're moving in quick.
Now, obviously, this is
one flag, it's brilliant, but they are going to come and take the one you're not defending. Now,
this is obviously, some might say it's a downside, but also that's part of the tactical challenge of playing 5-on-5, and is to know, basically, to pick and choose your battles, I suppose. Is that how you would put it?
Yeah, but you also got to know when you've lost a battle and when you're just holding ground for the sake of letting your team reposition and capture a flag. What you've seen from Exertus is they basically were holding 3 at C and 2 at A. As soon as their 3 at C were overwhelmed by a 5-on-3, they respawned over on A and just took B straight away.
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying. Now, obviously, we're just looking at the XTS guys, and you can see Edwin trying to move up towards them, and he's trying to push into B, but the trouble is that I don't know why they're pushing into B, because there seems to be a large majority of the defenders are at B. So you've got 2 defenders at B, and then you've got 1 guy, or possibly 2 guys who are defending C, and then you have a guy who what appears to basically be floating between B and C. to try and shore up any kind of defences for when the Swedish team push in, Dogbert.
It's very much the case. As soon as their opponents can, as soon as Exertus can work out exactly where their push is coming, as they tried to go around the back of C there, it was spotted quite quickly, and then they basically concentrated their force and defended C as a 3-on-2. How the Swedes react to this? They should really be pushing on B, but they're not having any luck on the equal footing when it comes to a 2v2 or a 1v1. They generally have to be going in 4v2 or more.
And it's that advantage, or I suppose disadvantage, when coming onto the 1v1s or the 2v2s, that's going to be a serious problem for them, in able to actually get that bleed off them. Now they're actually down. Now this is interesting. Watching Phantom, he's not moving. All he's doing is watching that corridor between B and C, and also checking left to see where these guys are coming from, as now you can see Phantom just quickly popping, but then get taken down as across the sky corridor comes one of the Swedish team, as we move over to Hadouken and see what he's up to, as he takes a bit of fire as Hinkas finishes him off. And now it's looking interesting, as you can see now the Exertus guys are spawning and coming in with a vengeance onto the B point, Dogbert.
They were pretty much caught out there. As soon as Phantom went down in that corridor, there wasn't a quick redeployment to B, which is what they should have done. They managed to hold on, but that has more to do with the Swedes not committing enough people at the right time. They were too worried about being picked off. They should have at that point flowed into B. There's never going to be enough people to stop them. And that's exactly what they're doing on C now, but they're being picked off quite quickly.
Yeah,
it looks like their push at C is kind of faltering, but they've realised that and they've moved on to B instead, which is a good redeployment as quick as possible.
Now, one thing, obviously, things that changed up compared to Battlefield 3 is the revive mechanic. Now, I'm seeing, obviously, these guys don't wait around for a full charge. They literally just charge, they just do a quick zap, and then chuck a med bag down on them to capture that extra healing. You're seeing this quite often, as obviously they don't really want to wait around because time is of the essence in this game.
The revives are much faster in BF4, especially in Domination. The only time you're going to be able to revive is when you've already won the team fight and there's no worry of anyone shooting you in the back while you're doing it. Now,
obviously, you can see 10 tickets here for the Russian team, not looking good, as Exertus is just doing a great job of showing their dominance on domination, I suppose you could say. And you can see Sweetag trying to get back in there to try and take that B point. And let's see what's happening, as now you can see two members of XTS there. You can see King Revo and Blackie trying to hold down that C point, as finally they get the bleed turned around, and now the bleed is on the China team. But I don't think that's going to last very long, especially as now we've got King Revo moving in to capture that point very quickly. Sweetag tries to move into the point, try and take him out. They're trading fire at the moment. He looks like he's backed off. And that's it, 133 tickets on that round. That was quite interesting there, Dogbert. What's your thoughts on that overall?
CREiZiZ did much better in this round than they did in the previous one. They managed to get the first two flags and hold up a defense for a while, but slowly but surely the superior FPS and infantry skills of Exertus really just overpowered them, pushed them out, and made it more of a fluid game, which Exertus were able to take full advantage of.
Right, so we should be moving teams around, and then obviously we'll do the second round on this particular map. But it's looking good as far as Exertus is concerned. God damn that name. It's giving me a headache now. I'll have to speak to Phantom and actually find out how to pronounce it properly. But no, this couldn't be any worse than my pronunciation of the Swedish team. Anyway.
I am butchering the Swedish team every time I try and say it.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we are obviously moving into the next map, and we are just ready to go. And
looks like Exertus has already lost one player on their side. I think you might be looking at another restart.
Yeah, okay, so what we'll do is we'll go based on the assumption that there's going to be a restart. So we'll just sit here and idly wander around in free cam, and obviously, you know, we can talk about the map and have a general thing and all the rest of it. So now, obviously, because there's no broken windows, the free cam doesn't actually let you out of the building, which is a nice little annoyance. but we can get out through one of the doors. Anyway, so now one thing I have noticed is I don't seem to see a lot of roof work. Now obviously there's no real way for them to get onto the roof, and there's no need for them to get onto the roof. Obviously there's not going to be a lot of sniping done on this particular game type, as you can imagine. And yeah, it looks like the STS guys are still trying to get one of their other guys back in. He may have crashed out as per the norm at the moment, so we just have to wait and see how that goes. So yeah, it's all fun and games, ladies and gentlemen. It's all fun and games. I hope you're enjoying, and I hope you are enjoying the cast thus far and the competition. So by all means, comments and feedback are welcome, yes, that too, in the chat. So, oh, looks like a little bit of, oh, there we go, a little bit of shot paddle fun going on. There's poor old Hadouken there, taken down. Oh, someone's smoking. Oh, that was nasty. That was nasty, nasty things going on there. So obviously, we shall wait, and there we go. It looks like the restart of the round has begun, and we shall be underway any second. So we are loading Lekang Dam again, and I think we're going to be underway any second. So, the countdown has begun.
It has indeed, Chadman.
Indeed. Now, oh God, they've just lost two members of CREiZiZ. We've cursed. We've cursed them. It's the commentator's curse again. It happens to me every time I look at somebody on Napoleonic Wars and they end up snuffing it, catching a bullet, or basically taking a cannonball to the face. It's the commentator's curse, as we're going to watch the HTS guys do their calisthenics at spawn, and obviously with a little bit of team killing going on. Who was that sitting on the barbed wire? That's going to hurt. That's Hadouken, proving how hard and Rambo-like he is by sitting on a batch of barbed wire. So let's see. Looks like the other guys are coming back in, so we should be underway pretty soon. Now, I don't know. Let's have a look at the loadout. So it looks like they've got a nice combination of weapons, but it seems that the Ace is pretty much the gun that everybody is using, as you said earlier. So now, obviously, guys, bear in mind, because this is a private server and is not ranked, means that's why we're not getting the squad information on left and right, and that's why we're not getting the gamer card, which will actually show in third person. So, oh God, Phantom's got the sniper rifle, and Phantom gets shot. So someone set off the car alarms. Typical. Even in a game, the car alarms are unreliable. It's always nice to see. And there we have the round restart. So, fun and games. Now, obviously,
We won't get any dropouts.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Things seem to have been okay so far. We'll just have to wait and see if it remains that way. Now, obviously, the XTS guys. No, actually, the sides have been swapped, so now it's time of Exertus to defend, and it's time for CREiZiZ to attack.
Yes, on this map it very much favours the Russian side, as they are much closer to C and B, but with a much easier route to B than the Swedes will. The Swedes, to get to B, they're going to be caught between a crossfire mostly. If any of the Exertus guys are hanging at C and still moving to B, they will easily see them coming in. So what you might see is CREiZiZ basically rushing to A and then maybe slow pushing to C.
Now, that gave me a flashback to COD 4. Is the first thing that the Exertus guys did, literally, was pop a nade in the general direction of the spawn of the enemy. And that definitely gave me reminding of COD days, specifically COD 1. So let's see, as you can now see that the Swedes have moved up to the point A, and you can see that point B and point C already taken by Exertus, so they've got that bleed on already. And now it's to their advantage to try and hold it. Let's see how they get on, Dogbert.
Sweet Tag there tried to get into C, but he was cut down in short order. The Swedes now have redoubled their efforts, and they're going to be pushing on B. I don't like a push on B at this point, because it does seem that Exertus are pretty much able to hold the best fire positions, which means moving on B is very difficult. They really need to try and move around as much as possible. Not coming in big clumps the way they're doing, but spread out in small groups. If a few of their guys die moving on to B, then they can move to the floater on either side, and then be able to mass push where Exertus are not going to be well prepared.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, one thing I am noticing is something you tend to see in a lot of games is you have a particular player who's guarding a set point on the map. So it's like, for example, that may be their stairwell, or it might be that particular location. Now, we're watching Phantom as he is trying to sneak around. There we go. He noticed the exit point for those two CZ players. Unfortunately, he's taken down Hinkas, and he is now going to be coming back up. And it looks like the poor CZ guys, or CRZ guys, are down to 4 players yet again. There we go. Edvin looks like he's back on the form. And now you can see as Hadouken has actually moved and he's guarding the point that Phantom was holding onto. And you can see as Hadouken moves forward and then they start catching that point again. Now it looks like they might have a full cap out, as 2 members of the CRZ team, Sweet Tag, moving up towards C point. They've got to be very careful here, Dogbert.
King Revo using the amazingly powerful Auto Barat, defending C and just dropping the Swedes. Eventually they overpower him by coming from behind, but that blunted the momentum and that push into C. Yeah,
that was pretty brutal. I saw that occurring, and then obviously Hinkas has just been taken down now. As we're looking, oh, nice back raise there onto Phantom. Phantom gets taken down, and now we're moving on to Rizzo the Rat. Let's have a look on the overall map, and we can see now that they've got a full bleed onto the China team. Not one ticket to the CRZ guys have. And let's see, Rizzo the Rat is in a slightly different location, but oh, he got taken down very quickly. He got up onto one of the roofs and got finished off. Wow, holy crap, that was really nasty. Now you can see Blackie, who's in there at the moment. He's got his hollow sight on the 416, and he looks like he's pacing around, looking for opportunities, looking for the enemy, try and cut them down as quickly as possible. And you can see some of them moving over towards the A point, and more fire coming in from him as he takes down somebody long distance. Effective fire from the 416, and now we're finding out what's going on as Exertus are taking back that B point, Dogbert.
Well, you just watch the way Exertus is spread out on the tabletop here. They have 2 holding C and 3 at B, which is the perfect setup, because to get to C, there's a very open spaces. It's very easy to spot any incoming, and if you are about to get overwhelmed, you can call for assistance from B, which you'll get there quite quickly. Right now, for the Swedes, they really have to attack C more than they have to attack B. B is a really difficult one to get. It's far too difficult to take if the opponent team is sitting there waiting for you.
Now that was interesting. We were just watching through Phantom's eyes. He killed one of the CRZ guys who came around the corner, and then literally just as before he's about to reload, his last round went into the fire extinguisher right next to the door, so that the smoke would actually obscure him while he did a reload. That's smart play there.
Is indeed, and as I was calling, they had to go for C, and they managed to overwhelm the Exertus defenders, but as soon as they take a flag, they pretty much abandon it and don't defend it. So Exertus come back in and instantly recap C, leaving them with the bleed continuing onto the Swede team, and it is at this point only a matter of time.
Okay, right, so let's see what's going on, as we have obviously got plenty going on, and you can see now we're watching Blackie, and you can see, okay, sorry, my Twitch is giving out on me as well, which is always entertaining to watch, as we're watching 4606, as you can see there we go, there'll be a fire coming in, Hinkas then being taken down by one of the XTS guys, and now we're watching Phantom checking the area, spotting the enemy, obviously marking out where those enemy are, and it looks like they're pushing that B point pretty hard. Let's see if we can find out what's going on, as now it looks like we could be talking about a possibility of a full bleed very quickly, as the A point looks like it's not being defended by the Chinese team. Dogbert.
Is indeed. I think basically what you're finding here is pretty much how domination is going to be played by the top teams. You are going to basically be holding the 2 flags, and that is about it. Unless you're going to get overwhelmed on 1 flag, there is no point to switch at all. Basically, the initiative is always in the team that holds the 2 flags. They don't have to do anything crazy. They can just sit back and chew up the opposing team as they try and make risky moves into the flag points.
Right, so we are going to see what's going on around the A point, but we're going to follow Edwin Leet, who's moving in now, as you can see. Now, the thing that's interesting, they've got the A point, and it doesn't look like they're actually defending that A point, as you were saying earlier. Oh, nice. Somebody just picked up the skill cannon sniper rifle and is currently in the process of using it. But what you were saying about earlier actually has applied, as now Exertus is moving in to take down the A point at the same time as CREiZiZ. Rather than moving in to try and take and hold A, they've now lost that, and it's literally becoming like a going round in circles type situation, Dogbert.
Well, definitely, because they've already got a lead. At this point, CREiZiZ are coming in with so many people to capture 1 single flag, but Exertus are just like, okay, we're going to harass you and try and stop you from capturing this flag quickly. Meanwhile, we'll send 2 to the other flag and capture it immediately, because there is no one there to defend it. They're going all their eggs in 1 basket continuously, and that's fine for Exertus because they already have 2 flags.
Right. Now, look at that bleed. 177 and ticket difference to 120. Obviously, the previous round they had 133 tickets. So, yeah, it doesn't look like, unfortunately, the CREiZiZ team are going to progress to the next bracket. It looks like an extremely dominant play. And what's your thoughts on Exertus watch from what you've seen thus far? Because obviously this is a team that came from America, originally over in America, and they have obviously brought themselves over to EU and UK. So what's your thoughts about the display that you've seen thus far, Dogbert?
They have proven themselves to be a very solid battlefield infantry squad here. They managed to do all the correct things when they were about to lose flags. They switched their attack immediately to the undefended enemy flag, stopping the chance of a bleed occurring. Their infantry play is top-notch and very good. They are a very surprising team and one to watch in the future.